Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to Secrets Behind the Stars, your steady hand on the wheel in a world where flashes dazzle and rumors roar. Here we filter the noise, hush the chaos, and lean close to the truth that speaks in low tones. Tonight, our gaze falls on a tale that refuses to be shouted from rooftops and instead advances in careful steps, like a chess match played under dim light. Before we unfold the board, become part of our family. Subscribe, tap the bell so every whisper reaches you, and if you appreciate thoughtful, respectful entertainment storytelling, consider joining our channel or leaving a super thanks. Your support is the reason we can trace the lines others overlook. Are you ready to step behind the curtain and ask what Sıla Türkoğlu and Halil Ibrahim Ceyhan have been arranging beyond the frenzy of the cameras? Then settle in. Because what hides in the quiet often shakes the world the loudest. In an industry addicted to overexposure, where relevance is chased with a daily feed of candids and confessions, Sıla Türkoğlu and Halil Ibrahim Ceyhan have made a radical choice: silence with intent. For months, both stars have floated just outside the blinding center of attention, seen yet not seized, heard about yet rarely heard. Their public footprints seem neatly separated, each moving through distinct professional lanes, each credited with projects that, on paper, shared no common thread. But beneath that calm surface, say those who claim to listen where others choose not to, something layered and exacting has been constructed. A plan with edges polished by time. A pattern that now appears fully drafted, awaiting only the signal to move. To the casual eye, the space between them looked like prudence, perhaps the wise pause after intense years in the spotlight. To those who study rhythms and recognize patterns, it felt like a held breath before a storm. Expectations circled without landing. And yet, the most persistent whispers insist that the line connecting Sıla and Halil never snapped. It was simply tucked away from sight, protected. Since the warm stretch of last year, industry chatter claims they have been aligning calendars as if governed by a single metronome, not as accident, but as design. Commitments cued in such a way that a spacious window of freedom would open for them both at the same time. Not luck, say the murmurs that grow bolder by the week, strategy. According to reports that have drifted toward our ears, the two have shaped a long arc that deliberately blurs the edges of personal and professional life. A life map, not a detour. One that doesn't simply ask how to be together for a week or two, but how to transform their public paths, how to step onto a larger stage together without losing the intimacy that makes them magnetic apart. The first act of this very real drama appears to extend beyond domestic borders. Halil's years of careful networking in international circles, paired with Sıla's coveted partnerships with global brands, point to an ambition that's far bigger than a private holiday. This sounds like a joint expansion, a shared climb, a power move as whispered in boardrooms as it is adored in comment sections. Every angle, we're told, has been mapped with a wide lens. Talk of artful fashion editorials and closed-door meetings across European capitals. Invitations to high society salons where deals materialize in conversations that last until dawn. Strategic retreats planned not for the camera but for clarity, in places paparazzi can't easily reach. Late-night edits to schedules that make tracking them nearly impossible. Nothing left to hazard. And yet, those who love to read between the lines have noticed breadcrumbs. In recent weeks, their posts have ticked forward with a curious synchronicity. Captions that seem innocuous until seen side by side. Frames edged by the same architecture, or the same horizon, days apart. Cameos with mutual friends that look spontaneous, until you count how often they recur. We all ask it now. Are these breadcrumbs simply charming coincidence, or are they lines deliberately drawn for the public to follow, the melody before the chorus? Neither Sıla nor Halil has declared anything outright. Their voices remain measured. But the hum of speculation is already thunderous in the digital streets. Is a new screen project forming behind sealed doors? Is there a personal decision that will turn their compass? The certainty with which some fans insist on an artistic reunion has jumped from hope to belief. One well-placed source offered a sentence that stilled the air: this time the plans are deeper, steadier, and built to last. No need to rush when you know the destination. No unnecessary noise when the outcome is understood between two people who have learned how the world listens and watches. The same source leaned in and added what many wanted to hear: preparations are finished. The countdown has begun. There is, our circles whisper, a date. An exact one. A day drawn in red ink and held close, matching neatly with the scheduled debut of a brand collaboration for Sıla and a fresh project cycle for Halil. Such synchronicity doesn't happen by accident. It's the kind of alignment that suggests months of disciplined planning. That's why you see commentators call this rollout controlled, even military in precision. And if the unofficial calendar holds, a wave is coming that may travel far beyond their home audience. What begins as a ripple in Istanbul or Izmir could end as a surge in Paris, Milan, or Dubai. Another thread igniting both fan forums and industry backrooms is the possibility, no longer tentative, some insist, of Sıla and Halil stepping onto the same set again. No script confirmed, no signature flashed to the public, but the shared free time, carefully obtained, makes the prospect tantalizing. Producers with sharp instincts have been circling, knowing exactly what their pairing can do: ratings that refuse to fall, sales that climb without being pushed, storylines that feel electric just by proximity. Their discreet meetings with mutual friends, so small as to be almost invisible, register as drumbeats under the surface to anyone attuned to the rhythm. As for the two themselves, those who claim to know them now speak of a clarity earned the hard way. Impulsive moves are out. Balance is in. Emotion holds hands with ambition. The center must hold, and they are determined that it will. So we arrive at the question that sets nerves humming in newsroom corridors and fan pages alike: is this the point from which there is no return? Could the announcement, whether framed as personal, professional, or something that dissolves the line between, land before the year closes or just as the news cycle opens? The quiet insistence that preparation is complete has lifted expectations higher than any billboard. And then there is the hush-hush claim we keep hearing, that their plans may not be limited to the two of them alone. Word has it families and closest friends have been gently briefed, asked to brace for surprises that don't fit into a weekend headline. That hint rewrites the scale of everything. We are not talking about a short trip or a single contract. We are speaking of a turn that could redraw the map of their lives. Public image advisors point out the thoroughness with which Sıla and Halil are conducting this dance with the press. A policy of selective invisibility appears to be in play, guarded by private travel, secluded meeting spots, and sudden timetable shifts that lead trackers in circles. Of course, the paradox holds: the more carefully something is hidden in this industry, the more passionately the world searches for it. Fan accounts have already started their own ticking clocks, resurrecting old interviews like precious artifacts and searching them for coded foresight. Brands are paying attention, too. Deals that had cooled are warming again. International names are watching closely, fully aware that their union is the spark every marketer craves. If our sources have it right, the blueprint is complete and only finishing touches remain before the curtain lifts. Dear Secrets Behind the Stars family, faced with such deliberate silence and shimmering possibility, we want to hear your read. Are we moments from a revelation that will shift the center of Turkish television and echo across borders? Which other Turkish stars would you like us to dissect with this same careful lens? Your comments guide the stories we chase. If you enjoy our narrative approach, like this video, and remember, the join button opens the door to an exclusive circle that stands for quality storytelling. Subscribe so you won't miss the next whisper turning into a wave, the moment where the hints become headlines. Until our next rendezvous, stay watching, stay curious, and keep your eyes on Secrets Behind the Stars, where the quiet becomes the story and the story refuses to let go.